Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. House Bill 2052 is an inclusionary bill that deals with absences for religious observances. So under the current law, school boards are required to develop policies for excusing students who are absent for the reasons of religious holidays, observing religious holidays. What this legislation would do would expand that to include religious instruction. So the code section would read, each local school board shall develop policies for excusing students' absence who are absent for religious reasons, including observances of religious holiday or participation in religious instruction. This does not require school boards to excuse those absences for religious instructions in every single case. It only requires them to develop policies when those absences could be excused. So the precipice of this concept was brought to me from members of the Muslim community in my district who were concerned about their little citizens having unexcused absence for religious instructions, as they have religious observances outside of the 3 days that they generally get. The biggest concern was being able to come back to school the next day, take the test that they missed, or hand in the homework that was missing. So, and I also recognize that there was some concern from the secondary principals about absentees being tied to accreditation and how that could be an issue here. But again, it still would allow, they wouldn't say that every single absence would be excused, just developing a policy for specifically religious instruction. Again, this is just designed to protect some of those religious freedoms that we say that we have, and would ask this bill be reported to full committee if there are no questions.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate Avoli.
Come on. Madam Chair, a question for the patron.
Delegate.
Delegate Glass, is there a problem that has occurred with this? I can't imagine a school principal not excusing a child or a high school, middle school kid for religious purposes.
Yes, so for religious instruction. So if there's a religious holiday, they have that, the code is written that if there's a holiday, they can absolutely be excused for that absence. But if it's for religious, religious instructions, like they have to study the Quran or whatever that is, those sorts of things that they have that are within their faith, not a whole lot of days. I think they said at most it was 3 other days that they were looking to do, then they had an instance where they were not being excused for those absences and having to take zeros or not being able to hand in homework.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Those in person in support? Those in opposition? We do have some folks who had signed up for online. Is there anyone waiting in the virtual queue to speak to this bill? All right, it is back before the committee. Delegate Cherry.
It seems as though this would be redundant. As my delegate Voley said, that it seems as though he can't see the idea that this would happen. So I would move to lay this on the table.
It's been a motion. Is there a second? Second. There's been a motion and a second to lay on the table. Madam Clerk, will you please open the roll? Delegate McQuinn, how do you vote?
No.
And that is laid on the table 6-3. Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Chair.